Unpack your knives and stay. Yes, stay. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Top Chef RHAPup. I am Haley Strong. I am here to talk snacks with you. We'll do a taste test, and you'll find that I have very bad taste, except when it comes to friends and podcast partners. It's a girls' night out. Welcome, LaTonya.
We're doing it. We've been saying that we were going to get together and have a girls' night out for years now, but we're finally doing it.
We're here. It's more of a girls' night in.
Definitely in. Yeah.
We don't leave. We don't leave the home.
This is
Definitely
our
not
domain. This is our domain.
It is our domain. Welcome. Top Chef, episode 12. We're here. We're ready. It wasn't last week, and it wasn't the fish boil either. So you know what?
It wasn't.
I'm happy. I'm leaving this episode of TV viewing happy enough. I will say I feel like I did a couple phone pickups just to look at Instagram, which isn't always the best sign, but I think it was fine enough.
Yeah. I would generally like this, and I think I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was fine. It fulfilled all of the criteria to be an episode of Top Chef.
It did. Almost exactly how we want it to be, too.
Yeah.
Except we just had one little Kristen voiceover being like, and don't forget, your quick fire might be counted against you if your elimination is challenged.
Just real quick.
Bad.
Yeah. And also you get 30 more minutes to cook because we're giving you a slight edge for winning the week before.
You won last week.
Remember?
Do you remember? Honestly, I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, Laura won the quickfire, so she gets 30 minutes extra. Nope, that's not what happened. That's exactly. I was like, wait a second here. That is not what happened. I can't wait for next season when they go back just to having it all in one episode. Just having one tight episode where I don't have to worry about what happened last week.
Yeah, I think that they'll get the message that the fandom isn't necessarily receiving this new formatting as well as they may have hoped. It's still fun. Don't get me wrong.
But it feels pointless. And I feel like we're wasting an extra 30 seconds to 1 minute per week of episode being like, well, we have to consider what they did in the quick fire too. And then actually just base it
or
on
do we?
Challenge.
I don't know if we do.
Maybe we don't. Who knows? But we're gonna hold it over their heads just so that they are scared.
I feel like the judges forget about the quick fire and a producer goes quick fire into one of their ears.
That's exactly what happens. You're totally right.
Because they're like, oh, because one of them inevitably goes, oh wow, we have to think about the quick fire.
That's when we're judging this. Oh yeah. We're gonna break format of the show for the last 20 seasons and do this. Quickfire challenge. It's a classic. Identify as many ingredients as possible in 5 minutes while blindfolded, and then create a dish using the ingredients you guessed correctly. There was 26 ingredients there. Had to guess them. It was alphabetical. And so
no one got that.
Nobody got that, but also I feel like some of them were a little shoved in there, like flank steak specifically, and I think that one for Danny was beef, and it's beef. They gave him beef. Right. I'm like, no. You have to tell me it's flank steak, or
that
else
steak has a flank on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure how this episode was gonna go. Honestly, when it started with the picture of Manny scraping his tongue.
Oh, I had to look away.
I don't need to see people brushing their teeth or scraping their tongues on my television programs.
No, both Ethan and I were
not even Manny's tongue. That shows you how hard and fast that rule is for me. I won't even make an exception for Manny. All right?
No, and then they showed it to us again in case we missed it.
Just in case we missed it the first time, and we didn't. We didn't miss it.
Nor
will I do that to me.
But that tongue came in useful.
That tongue really came in handy.
Super handy for Manny.
Manny, what that tongue do? I don't know.
It tastes. That's what it do.
It tastes.
I also thought it was interesting that they like screwed over Dan in the edit, basically, of that being like, oh, like I am really great at tasting, and then like just a super cut of him missing a bunch. But then him and Savannah got the same number right. So I was like, okay, all right, interesting.
It was delightful to see how excited Savannah was for this.
I love Savannah. Savannah's
I really do love Savannah.
Now that she's allowed to be on the television show, unlike the first probably 4 weeks, I'm so thrilled she's there.
She's great. And she was like, I'm mentally prepared for this. I didn't physically do anything. But
I know. I feel like this with practice at home. Like call up Charlie from the season of Survivor. He could probably set up a tasting challenge for you.
Is Charlie a big foodie that I don't know about?
Hard to tell.
Or you're just picturing Charlie. You just call him up.
Well, because he practiced the grip strength. That's why he got the challenge correct.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Correct.
He got it correct.
He got it correct.
He got it 100% on the challenge.
He came correct. That definitely sounds natural coming from me, doesn't it? So Danny and Savannah both came in last place with 9 ingredients. Danny had 13 ingredients. And then they tried to make it suspenseful. They're like, and then between Laura and Manny.
Mm-hmm.
Manny got 23 ingredients, Laura, you got 15. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Sure. Like, Manny absolutely blew everyone away in this.
Yeah, that is wild. That
very impressive.
He managed to do so well there. Less exciting to have to cook with 23 ingredients, though.
I mean, fair. You don't have to use all 23 ingredients. Yeah. Can you imagine if it was like you have to use all of your ingredients? Like you throw that challenge. You're like, I don't want to use mussels in this. I'll say it's octopus. I don't know. Yeah. So
it was hilarious. Like Laura, is terrifying. I just want to say, when she ran up for the second part of the quickfire to get her tray and overlapped arms with, I think it was Danny, and just refused to give in at all and grabbed her tray first. I was like, wow. The sheer force of will.
It doesn't need to be like this, Laura. It doesn't. It doesn't have to be like that. No one's going to try and take your tray. They might actually, because she has the second most ingredients, but nobody's going to take it.
No.
So Manny made a salmon crudo with edamame, jalapeno puree, parsley. Oh my God, I was so thrown off by parsley and gooseberry relish. I thought his looked really lovely and refreshing and delicious. Judges hated it.
It did look delicious and refreshing. I don't know what went wrong on this one. I guess
lack of seasoning on the fish, apparently.
Oh, right. Gooseberry relish sounds interesting.
It does. Have you ever had gooseberries?
No.
My grandmother used to have a gooseberry bush in her backyard, and I would pick them, and I would get pricked by all the little thorns. They're very tart, at least the ones in Southern Ontario.
We had a mulberry tree in our backyard.
I haven't had a mulberry.
Yeah, they're very tart if you get them too young, but if they're like ripe, they're delicious and sweet, and like it was just, we were like, should we really be eating the fruit off of this tree? And my grandmother, who's from Mississippi, was like, yeah, we used to eat that all the time. I'm fine.
That's why it's there. I have a raspberry bush in the backyard. I think this is going to be the year it has raspberries.
I love raspberries.
Me too. But okay, so I'm very particular about food textures. Like I'm not good with mushy. Yeah. And so I tend to stray away from a lot of the smaller berries. Because they can be mushy.
They can.
But I love the taste of raspberries, but it feels like I'm playing roulette every time I eat them.
A raspberry smoothie is really just
lovely.
Fantastic.
I won't even go near a blackberry because those are walking little time bombs of mush.
They are pretty mushy.
I can't even like look at them. Like I could see the mush radiating off of them. Like they just have an aura of mush.
Huh. I don't have the texture thing so much except for like boba or a jelly like that. I can't with the jellies. I would not have been any good around any of the old European courts of the 17 and 1800s because they were just all jellies and like aspics and things.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, how do you feel about an aspic?
Never had one. Don't really care to.
Don't usually signed up for that.
Meat jelly? No, thank you.
Do you like Jell-O though? Just like if you,
I do. I do just from like being sick a lot. And the one thing when I put on a fluid restriction that my nurse will let me have is Jell-O when I can't have more water. So I've just from being sick gotten used to having Jell-O around.
My favorite preparation of Jell-O is when you go to a Chinese buffet and in the dessert section they have like cubes of Jell-O. Yes. That's my favorite Jell-O.
The cubes are great.
Yeah,
they really are.
Oh, and you can get like a green one and an orange one and a red one and have like a little Jell-O time.
Well, I mean, there are just like there are flavors of Kool-Aid. Like the red Jell-O is clearly the best Jell-O. I don't know what flavor it is. Red is a flavor where I come from.
Yeah, no, I feel like that is just red flavored.
Okay.
Because even the green one, like, what is that? Is it lime? Is it green apple? It's just green.
I wouldn't know.
Orange, I feel like, is pretty self-explanatory.
Right, yeah.
Dan made a grilled flank steak with scrambled eggs and Hook's cheddar and horseradish, red wine, and sour cream sauce. Holy shit.
Sounds great. Sounds like a great idea, but it was not executed well. He was like, there are shells in these eggs.
Oh, he just like was like, he knew it was bad. Oh, see, I can't do scrambled eggs again.
Really?
Too much.
I have to have an egg thing where I just couldn't have any yolk. Like, it couldn't be runny in any way.
I'm the opposite. I hate egg white. I only like the yolk. And I like it to be runny. I don't want it to be hard. I don't want
now
it to
I understand the runny egg can be a sauce, but before I was just like, this is not happening.
I think it's fair. I think that's reasonable. You know what's not reasonable? This dish. And
this dish is not
Dan hated it. The judges hated it. Like Gail straight up was like, that was terrible. It was terrible. I have no other words. It was terrible.
Gail has never eaten anything so terrible in her entire life.
She hasn't. I also really want to commend Gail's stylist this season. She has looked strikingly gorgeous in every single episode.
It's so true. She really has. And like effortlessly so. That's a word I tried to make. Effortlessly.
I think that's a word.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't say it properly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I struggled over parsley like 5 minutes ago, so don't worry about it. Savannah made a fried pork chop with faux Caesar and cheddar and horseradish Kalamata olive sauce. I'm thrown off by a Caesar with cheddar cheese, and I know it should be fine. And the judges
like it. It's a faux Caesar. That's why it's faux.
Yeah, but I don't know why it is throwing me off.
I mean, you're used to one kind of cheese.
Yeah.
For a Caesar salad. That's why it's throwing you off.
Well, I find
that's
cheddar
not my go-to salad either.
Oh, see, I love a Caesar salad. But I want the dressing on the side because I don't like it overdressed. Because again, it gets too mushy. It's really coming up a lot.
It really, it's coming up a lot.
14 minutes of the Top Chef RHAPup today.
It depends on the dressing, honestly. Like most places, I would pass on a Caesar salad, but there are a couple places that I've been that I will want it from there exclusively almost. So,
you know,
but no, not really my salad of choice.
I love a Caesar salad. Red Lobster has a great Caesar salad.
Really?
Yeah, they do. Trying to think. Well, but see, if you're going to like the Olive Garden where you're having like a beautiful home, I guess Olive Gardens not have a beautiful homemade dressing. You know, just like a really nice like Italian salad. I like that too. But I usually pick a Caesar over a Garden unless it's like a big upcharge for the Caesar. Then I will take the Garden because I'm cheap. I don't want to pay an extra $2.50 for a Caesar salad.
I prefer the garden, typically, because I love onion. I love tomato.
Yeah, see, they always put the little cherry tomatoes in there, and again, they're a little mushy for me.
All right.
Danny made a great grilled flank steak with watermelon and gooseberry jus, okra with parsley, anchovy, and horseradish gremolata. Who was it, Gail? Who's like, Tom, how's your okra, Tom? He's like, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's the most aggressive "it's fine" that has ever been said about food, especially okra.
Tom looked really hot at this judges section.
Yes, he did. Danny is kind of cute. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah. Oh,
like he's really attractive and good at his job. So
I'd have to agree with
it's becoming fun to watch.
I do love that Tom seemed to match his glasses to his sweater. Like they were both like a deep navy blue. I appreciated that. His stylist also doing a good job.
Everything that he's worn this season, I've been excited about.
So I have a question that's just come to my head. Now they all have stylists. Do you think Tom picks his own hats, even though he has a stylist, and his like work around this hat?
I think that his stylist probably picks hats to show him an array of hats, and then he picks which one he likes the most out of what the stylist has chosen.
All right. Okay, cool. Laura made a mussel escabeche with umeboshi, anchovies, and herbs, rosemary cracker, watermelon, and gooseberries. I can't eat mussels, so I'm just like checked out of this.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
I know, and I've tried a few times, and it doesn't end well for me.
That's terrible. I love mussels. They're so good. I had some disappointing mussels a couple weeks ago. That the sauce they were in was just not like flavorful, which is hard.
What's your go-to sauce for mussels?
Like a white wine sauce with some garlic, some parsley.
Back in the day when I could eat mussels, I liked like a tomato-y broth.
Oh, a tomato-y can be good too.
I love a mussel broth. I had one that was like a curry, like a coconut curry, and that was really good.
Yeah. Coconut doesn't really agree with me. Like whenever I have coconut shrimp, I'm like, why did you do that?
See, mussels no longer agree with me, so.
Yeah. We should go out to eat together.
I'll
eat all the things that you hate, and you can eat what's left because you're allergic to everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say I liked eating mussels. They didn't like when I ate them.
I'm sure they didn't. They were like swimming around the sea or whatever before you ate them.
Do they swim? Don't they just do this?
That's none of my business. I don't know what sea life does. You kidding?
I can't see it. I don't know what life it leads. Danny,
was it in The Little Mermaid? Because maybe there were no mussels in The Little Mermaid.
I'm not a Disney movie person, so.
That sounds impossible given everything that I know about you.
I know it does, doesn't it? I never really liked cartoons.
Unpack that.
I don't know. I really don't know. I just was like, you know what really bothered me? Was that they always wore the same clothes. I hated that.
Unsanitary.
I hated that. I loved it, the Weekenders, where they would have different clothes on for every day of the weekend. I appreciate that. I will say the Proud Family once made a funny joke where she was like changing clothes. I think Penny was like changing her outfit, and she opened the closet and it's just like 10 of obviously the outfit she was wearing because it's a cartoon. But I guess it just always bothered me that they wore the same clothes.
Okay.
Laura, Danny, and Savannah were in the top with their dishes, with Savannah coming out as the winner, and she won $10,000. I don't know if we mentioned, but Manny did win $5,000 for his ingredient guessing, which he is going to spend on a lovely honeymoon with his wife, his
ridiculously beautiful fiance.
I mean, of course, he's hot, so why wouldn't he have like the hottest girlfriend ever? Like, come on. Do you think Kevin will be a groomsman?
Oh, if he's not, then true love is dead.
I'd have to agree.
You can't break up the power bottoms. They come in a pair.
Oh gosh. And then obviously Dan and Manny were in the bottom. They basically said, Dan, you're lucky. We're not making you leave right now on the basis of that dish.
Yeah. That was sad. And I mean, he knew it. Like, he knew exactly what was coming.
He's very self-aware.
He's very, very self-aware and hard on himself too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he was still kind of like kicking his own ass from the quick fire challenge during the actual challenge, which I know we'll get to.
That's a really good point. It was funny, even I think it was like Gail or Tom was like, so Dan, what were the issues with your dish? And he was like, all right, well, it was this and this and that, and there's shells. The elimination challenge. I feel like we see this elimination challenge usually every season. Create a dish that exemplifies your culinary growth. I mean, sometimes I don't want them to like try and shove a theme in our face when it's so loose. And I guess that's Rich coming from somebody who loved the chaos cooking challenge.
Yeah, you don't have a single argumentative leg to stand on right now. Like,
but at least that was exciting. At least that was fun. I had fun. Yeah, so but this one was very loose in that it was like, it could be like you want to redeem yourself on a challenge you did bad in, or you want to just like show your growth, or you want to like try something new. Just have a story.
I just like it when they treat the chefs to dinner.
Oh, me too. It's so cute.
That's part of the show that I wish there was more of.
Did you find the meat look suspect
at the dinner? Maybe I didn't pay as much attention to the meat as I should have.
It looked suspect to me personally.
That could have been a time when I was checking my phone, honestly.
Yeah, it looked suspect.
What, like suspect in what way? Like it had gone bad, or it wasn't like, cooked?
No, it was all like the same color of gray. And it was like chicken, it was like brisket, there was like a pork thing. It just all looked not a color, like, and I don't know, you know how when you get chicken, you want like the crispy skin on it, and like you do color. Mm-hmm. Where this just didn't look like that. It didn't look like that. But I bet it was delicious. I bet the restaurant's great. I would have been like, oh, I got really full on the appetizers. Thank you.
I don't eat meat anymore since 3 to 4 hours ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I always had like a hard time eating at other people's houses as a child because you just like don't know how.
We were taught not to eat at other people's houses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why? It's for like danger? Like you don't want to eat other people's food?
What kind of? But like you don't know how clean people are,
Yeah.
Like you see all those videos on TikTok of those nice ladies in their beautiful kitchens, and they're like feeding the dog ground beef and then using that hand to like, pulverize some bread, put that in the oven or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like a dog licks your hand and then you put it in your food.
If my cat even looks at me, I'll wash my hands. Like, oh, you looked at me. I'm washing my hands.
Oh, but you never know. You never know what passes for food in some people's houses. Like they might pull a shot from Yellow Jackets and go out and kill a bunny and serve it in chili, and you would never know.
That's so true. Now I'm so scared. Yeah. My thing was always like if you went to somebody's house and they made craft dinner for you, like everybody makes craft dinner so specific. What do you guys call it? Just mac and cheese. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just like craft dinner being like, some people like their noodles like a little mushy. Like I don't like when the noodles split, and I don't like when the cheese is like grainy and it like, I don't like. Ugh.
See, also for like growing up, that was not an entire meal. That was a side dish always. That was like you never just had macaroni and cheese for dinner.
No, it wasn't dinner. It was more like a lunch option.
Any meal. Always a side.
And then some people would throw hot dogs in it to like boost it. Not for me.
Boost it. to give it a little
protein. make it a complete meal.
Yeah. Mm-mm. This is why you don't eat at everyone's house, you know? Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to order a pizza when you go somewhere.
You do.
I love eating pizza though, so.
Yeah.
As you can tell by our Top Chef video background. So yeah, the elimination challenge, create a dish that exemplifies your culinary growth. I thought it was interesting to hear some of the stories or like the approach to the challenge. And it very much felt like whoever had a clear picture of what their story is had a good dish, but those who were just trying to make a dish to fit, like who had
a dish that they knew of already and was like, I can execute this well, I think.
Yeah. Savannah, she made a potato pave with burnt onion and cherry jam and a chicken sauce reduction. I thought this was extremely bold of her in so many
bold
ways. First of all, the most bold was like using a mandolin
at all
while like talking to somebody else. I have a harder time watching than Manny scraping his tongue.
I had a really hard time watching that, especially because she had already stabbed herself.
I can't even like think about it. I cannot watch people use a mandolin.
It's dangerous and they shouldn't exist. We don't need potatoes to be that shape or any other vegetable for that matter.
Skip ahead 30 seconds if you're grossed out by this like I am. The one time I came home from work, and I was working at a restaurant then, so it was like 8:39. And I come home, I was like, "Hey Ethan, what's for dinner?" He's like, "I'm not sure." I was like, "I thought you were making a salad." And I go into the living room and he's like holding his thumb up like this. And he's like, "I was until I cut my thumb on the mandolin."
Oh.
And I go look at the mandolin. Guess what I find?
A thumb?
A bit of thumb.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it for the rest of my life.
Sick.
Anyway, so
I love gore. I'm just like,
I can't even. It's like it makes me cringe. Like it makes me physically cringe, even like looking at them using a mandolin.
I can't. I don't understand why they exist.
Like, just get a slap chop.
A what?
A slap chop.
Oh,
you do that.
Yeah, you slap and you chop.
I do love a potato pave, though. I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really bold decision to be like potatoes or what I'm doing for.
Yeah, she's like, my main dish, potato.
The chicken will only be a jus.
She was like, "This is Top Chef Idaho, right? Right? Potato." And then she was also like, "Also, this is supposed to be done overnight. It's not supposed to be done.
It's not supposed to be done in 3 hours.
No, it'll be impossible for me to do this in 3 hours. No, like it defies the laws of physics. I'm going to try it though.
This is taking even longer than I thought it would take.
And I thought it was going to take a long time.
Take a really long time. My favorite part was when Savannah told her story, and then for the first time in history, a white person was called articulate.
She's so good at speaking. She sounds really intelligent.
She does.
I clocked that too, actually.
Good.
I was like,
Like, Gail, I hope you don't call anyone else articulate in life. I really hope that's not something that you do often.
It's crossed. Yeah, she explained her story really well, but I thought it was an interesting editing choice that we as the audience didn't get the story as much until that very moment. Like I felt it click alongside the judges where she said, "Potato pave requires heat and pressure, and so do I in this Top Chef kitchen, and like it can come out with something great." I was like,
yeah,
I was really taken aback by that.
It's profound. Like, and it was a verse, really.
It was so simple too. Like she was able to just say her story in like in one line, and it clicked. It made sense. It made sense with the dish. I love the idea of the cherry jam with the burnt onion.
Yeah.
I love a cherry jam. And the chicken sauce reduction, that's so fun. Like, so fun. They're like, she's like, "You know what? A vegetarian dish? I don't think so." Here's the chicken sauce reduction.
Which sounds really good. Like all of the best part of the chicken skin, basically.
Yeah.
but a sauce? Fantastic. I mean, it is like also it has to feel a certain way for the other chefs to be like, you know what beat you? Potatoes.
But you know what? Sometimes you just got to do it simple, and you got to do it well, and you got to be clear, and you got to fit within the the constraints of the challenge. And Savannah's really good at being like, this is what the challenge is. All right.
That's very true. I mean, I think that quality could win her the whole thing, honestly.
Yeah, I'm starting to really root for her.
Yeah. I mean, she is by far like the biggest fan of the show, which you can tell just from how she interacts with the challenges themselves. Like she's seen them before and given them a lot of thought. But she's also just got a clear vision and is really good at putting on blinders and just kind of getting done what needs to be done. Which, when you're in the last challenge and you're cooking like a menu that represents you, or however they're going to put it this season, you really need to like not just be awed by all of the resources you have at hand and just like, go for what you have been dreaming of doing. And she's really good at all that.
She's so good at that. And I think that was exemplified in the quickfire challenge, even, where she had 9 ingredients. Like, she had the same amount of ingredients as Dan.
Yeah.
Yet she won the challenge because she just like honed in on what it was she should be doing. She kept it simple. They said, oh, like fried pork chop, very simple, but you did it so well. It was perfect. And she's just really good at that. I love her for it. Manny made a snapper a la Veracruzana with creamy potatoes and saltines. Potatoes look fantastic. When Manny was pulling out the saltines, and he said, I guess I gotta do something with these so I'm not just serving saltines. I said, babe, you're on Top Chef.
Yeah.
You're lucky if nobody yells at you for not making the saltines yourself.
I knew when I saw those saltines, I was like, oh, sweet baby girl. That is not the way. You can't just give the judges saltines because they're going to be bitchy about it, right? Like, they're going to do exactly what happened, which was Gail went, saltines.
To be fair to him, the way he seasoned those up, I would absolutely crush those.
Oh, sure. But
I also thought the
any day.
I thought the plating was so funny, where he had the main plate and then he had like this little like ramekin of your saltine.
Your single saltine.
Enjoy your one saltine per person. One saltine. I only made 8. I only had enough seasoning for 8. I had a whole box with 4 sleeves. 2 out of 4 of those sleeves are gonna get stale in the cupboard. I'll tell you that for free, because I have stale saltines in the cupboard right now.
I think everyone does.
It's like every house has a sleeve of stale saltines and a jar of Vicks VapoRub that expired in 2002.
That's so true. That's so true.
I moved into this house in 2018. I'm pretty sure I have a jar of expired Vicks VapoRub from 2002.
Yeah. I keep mine for good luck.
I mean, what? It's gonna go bad?
It's like slowly absorbing all of the sins that I do in the real world.
Yeah. It's fine. It's not real medicine, so it can't like hurt you. Please don't take our advice. I'm not a doctor.
Allegedly, it can. There are lots of people who believe that they got asthma later in life because their parents used VapoRub on them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
As someone who has asthma and who grew up using VapoRub, I'm not totally convinced, but I could be.
I don't have asthma, and I grew up using vapes.
Exactly.
Not vapes. Never used a vape. Thank you.
Tons of vapes.
Vicks VapoRub. I don't know. So it's 50-50. We're a test group right here.
Mm-hmm.
Danny made soba cha mushroom broth with mushroom puree and cod. I was like, babe, we're not cooking those mushrooms on top at all, or?
I know. Like, the thing that you want to redeem yourself from is the tea. That's what you're focusing on. The tea that you serve, the forgettable beverage that happened before the disaster in that kitchen. Like,
I didn't even realize that was his thing. You know what I mean? Like, the tea came out. I didn't say, "Oh, I know that's Danny's
tea
thing." Yeah. What would you have liked to see him redeem?
I mean, that's the thing, is that he's done so many good things in this competition. He could have just like harkened back to them and shown growth in some way, as opposed to redeeming himself from something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can apparently do ungodly things to carrots.
Yeah.
Like, everyone seemed to enjoy that. Like, I was wondering what he was going to do with the mushrooms when I saw them, because I was like, he's so good at making vegetables. And then he just didn't cut them up pretty.
Yeah, he should have done something crazy with vegetables. That it would be a much better idea. They said that the fish he made was like so odd. It was over salty, and he claimed it was, what did he say? Subtle?
Yes, he was very excited to show them how he could be subtle. And they were like, "You think?"
And Gail was like, baby girl, no. That's the least subtle thing I've eaten all day.
Subtle? What?
And I ate a saltine with extra salt on it 1 dish ago.
Your compadre served me a buttered saltine. And now you're coming out here and telling me
that shit's refined. A saltine? You serve a saltine.
It was like, the fish is both too salty and completely forgettable because it's covered by all of these mushrooms. And all I could taste is mushroom.
And allegedly, there's tea involved.
Oh, right.
The fish was too salty, and the mushrooms.
But there's no sauce or anything.
No. Just tea broth.
Just tea. I don't know. This was not great. But apparently it wasn't as bad as what Manny did.
Yeah, I also thought it looked really clunky. Like, I thought the mushrooms weren't giving the air of delicate and beautiful that I think he intended them to.
Right. Not in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Yeah, I wanted to see more from him. I think he's another person that kind of like got caught up in the concept.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's okay to not make food with subtle flavors. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily what they're looking for at all. Like, they're not asking you to refine yourself.
No, it's just, make a good dish. And it just didn't work. Dan tried to do a twist on one of his very successful dishes from earlier in the season, which was obviously a mistake because he just made like a worse, weirder version of that. He made smoked walleye with potato dumplings with lemongrass, turmeric, and brown butter emulsion. He called them gnocchi, and I thought it was I thought it was deeply unhinged for him to be making gnocchi with like a lemongrass sort of
turmeric
sauce. With like smoked walleye. I don't know. I thought he could have like really leaned into like smoked walleye and potato dumplings, like as being like very Wisconsin-y, or leaned into the Asian style that he enjoys cooking in.
Well, I mean, he found out they didn't have lemongrass after basing his entire dish around lemongrass, and then was just like, is lemongrass with turmeric fine? I guess it'll have to be fine, as opposed to pivoting and coming up with maybe another idea.
Yeah, and he can pivot. We know that. He did that earlier in the season when he did the walleye dish, because he was supposed to be getting something else, and they all like trout or whatever, and they only had walleye. So he said, all right, let's do this. We can make it better. I just thought it was so insanely clunky. Like, this whole dish was just clunk, clunk, clunk. The walleye was too smoky. The potato dumpling, I mean, I don't think they really had a qualm with those, but they just like,
they couldn't taste them.
The dish, they just went, okay, he has thought a lot of thoughts, and they are all right here. They're like, Danny, come back. Show down how you refine stuff. Show Dan how you be subtle.
Manny, bring some more saltines.
Manny, I need one of those sleeves of saltines. I need to put it with the walleye.
Butter up that saltine, Danny, or Manny. Manny and Danny. Both of you.
The demands. I felt bad for him. He just had really tough. He had a tough day. He was thrown off by the quick fire, which just continued into like him being thrown off during this challenge. He couldn't think a thought, and any thought he thought ended up on the dish.
Yeah. He definitely was still beating himself up from the quick fire, which is unfortunate because I felt like, this was to determine who made it to the finals of Top Chef, obviously, but like several people, like all of the guys did not have a good cook. They
that
probably had their
funny, right? You're like,
cook of the season.
Power. Golden girls. Oh gosh.
Laura's been praying for this. Just like, who do I have to sacrifice in order to get further in this competition?
She's like, no. She's like, no, Dan, put more smoke in there. See what happens. Laura made lamb manti with barbacoa sauce. This sounds incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to be signed up for a barbacoa sauce. And the lamb manti, it's like a type of Mediterranean pasta. It looked like half kind of open. Did you get that vibe too?
Yeah, it looked like, but they were so tiny and delicate as well.
So tiny. I was like, what is she doing here?
Yeah, and is everyone only going to get like 4 of those little pieces of pasta?
I know, they got a lot though. It was delicious looking.
It did look good.
The sauce.
Her filling the pasta was just wonderful to see.
Mm-hmm. And she wasn't technically in the top, but she was not in the bottom. They said, hey, we liked your dish. You're going to the final as well.
You're going to the finals.
Yeah. So Savannah wins this challenge. And can you believe it? She gets an advantage next week. Next week on the show. Not, whatever, but next week. And did you think that there was any chance Manny wasn't going to be the one going home?
No, I thought Manny was going home from the beginning of the episode.
Yeah. I thought it was his time. It's amazing he's made it this far, but I feel like for the last couple of weeks, we've been a little bit like, really? Really?
You're so cute.
I love you, Manny. Please don't take offense to this.
Please don't. Like, I would really die if any of the people on this show listened to this podcast and thought for a second that I was serious about anything or that I didn't do anything but like appreciate them. Like, I want to go to all of these people's restaurants. I want to have the carrots. I want to have the potato pave. I want to see what's going on.
And like the dinners I make for myself are the undoctored saltines. Like I'll just dummy a pack of those. Saltines with peanut butter. Great snack. But yeah, we see Manny go. We see Manny pack his knives.
Which is sad.
It is sad.
He's just been a jovial guy the whole season,
Yeah.
He's just been in such a good mood all season.
He's easy to root for personally.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss you, Manny.
We're gonna miss him. Hey, we're leaving Wisconsin.
Hey, where are we going?
We're going to Curacao.
Oh, where's that?
Just north of Venezuela.
Huh. There's a drink named after it.
There is, and this is how fun I was at parties. I didn't drink back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And people would be like, oh, I brought my Curaçao to the party. And I would say, no, it's Curacao. And they'd say, no, it's Curaçao. And I would say, no, it's named after an island called Curacao. And they'd be like, you're an idiot. And I'd be like, okay.
How old were the people that you were hanging out with? Because I learned about Curaçaos from the people on The Sopranos. Like, that was Uncle Junior's drink of choice.
I don't think many people...
He was like 80 years old.
Yeah, I don't think many people were watching The Sopranos when I was in high school.
Okay.
To early university.
I just think it's hilarious that like high school students are getting drunk off of Curacao in Canada.
Yeah, people would call it Caraco, and I would fight with them over it.
Wow.
Yeah. But we're doing like a Caribbean cruise, allegedly.
Yeah. How do you feel about like putting them on a cruise ship and making them cook?
It makes me a little nervous. And when they said we've never done this before, I need them to like hyper focus on what aspect of this they've never done before. Like they've never done a specifically Caribbean cruise, because they've been on a cruise ship before. They did like Seattle to Vancouver, or maybe Seattle right up to Alaska, Vancouver to Alaska. Maybe they did Vancouver to Alaska. Maybe they did Seattle. Semantics, who cares? So I'm wondering, when they say we've never done this before, what are we saying we've never done before? Been to one of the Dutch Antilles? I don't know. I would like to know.
Maybe that's what it is. I can't remember a time that the show did anything in the Caribbean.
Oh, they've done definitely. I think they've done the Bahamas, but I guess that's not technically Caribbean, is it? That's North. Gosh darn it. And also, I want to know, like, what part of where are they cruising? Are they just going to Aruba after? Are they sailing pretty far and going to like St. Vincent and Grenadines? Like, what are we doing here?
I'd like to know why we weren't invited to be on the cruise.
Truly. I want to go. I want to do that.
Yeah. Allow us access.
Yeah.
Please.
Have you ever been on a cruise?
No. As my grandmother would say, I can't drink all that water. No, I'm terrified of cruises. Like, I was, there was an emotional roller coaster for many reasons when COVID began. But when those people were like just told they couldn't leave that cruise ship, I was like, wow. You never know. You never know when something like that is going to break out, and then you're just stuck on a cruise ship for the rest of your life.
That's true. That is scary. Yeah, I don't know if they're for me. I think I'd like to do an Alaskan cruise, but that's very hyper specific to Alaska.
Have you never done one?
No.
No.
I've
been on a boat. That's something.
Been in a kayak. Does that count?
No, I've been on like those
like a ferry.
Yes, but also those like charter cruise, kind of like of Lake Michigan.
Yeah, same.
Or the Potomac, or like wherever we were at the time.
Yeah, same. Just like a little day trip. I could swim to the edges if I really needed.
See, I can't swim.
Oh,
that's why I'm terrified. Yeah, I got pushed off the high diving board when I was like a child, and I fell into the pool, obviously, and almost drowned. And so I've been afraid of swimming ever since.
That seems reasonable. For people who've never met me in real life, I have a pretty short stature, but I also have the thrill of having really big feet. So that makes me clumsy, but also a great swimmer.
A great swimmer, yeah.
Great swimmer. So my parents put me in swimming lessons when I was young because I couldn't do any other sports because I was too clumsy. So they thought there was less opportunity for me to get hurt well in the water.
Yeah, you had puppy feet.
Yeah, I was just a tiny little thing with these ginormous feet.
It's adorable.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because I look like an L when I wear rain boots. I'm not joking. I look like a perfect L.
Wow. What an image.
We're going to Curacao next week, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm going to put on sunscreen just to watch.
I think that's a good idea. LaTonya, what did you eat this week?
It's been a weird week. Just generally. What have I eaten? Let's find out.
I know, I'm like looking at my phone. I'm like, did I eat anything this week? And it's like, yeah, of course I ate something. I would be miserable SOB if I didn't.
I've had a lot of chicken. Like I ordered chicken, but then I also got a rotisserie chicken.
I love rotisserie chicken.
I do too.
Because there's things where I just feel like there's no value in me making them.
Right.
I could make something from scratch, but with certain things, there's truly no point. One of those things is a roast chicken. I'm never going to roast a chicken when I can go to the store and buy a nice rotisserie chicken.
Mm-hmm. See, I like to roast chickens. I just don't always feel like it. And for that purpose, it's just, it's great. And then they come in different flavors, which is nice. So I got a lemon pepper one this time.
That sounds wonderful.
Very good. What else did I have? I had
the ones I usually get are just rotisserie flavored.
Okay. Yeah, just a regular.
Yeah, just
just a chicken. They have like rosemary chicken and lemon pepper, and I think there's one other they have at Jewel. It's been a weird week. Like, I've eaten rotisserie chicken and ramen because I haven't really had an appetite, and food is really expensive. I know that this is one of the things you all come here for, is for us to talk about what we've eaten.
I think it's perfectly reasonable for us to come some weeks and be like, I ate 3 saltines. Because like I just couldn't think of a thought to make dinner.
Yeah, like
I don't want people thinking that all we do is like always eat good food and always cook great food and always get takeout of good food. Sometimes I like look in the cupboard and I go, is it worth it? And I close it and go to bed.
Is it worth it? Let me work it. Yes. I mean, I'm doing that right now. I thought I was going to order pizza and then I just didn't. And so I'll probably have like chicken salad and crackers for dinner, which is fine.
Why not girl dinner? Sometimes you just need to girl dinner it.
It's true. Many times I need to girl dinner it. What about you? Have you had an appetite at all this week? Because I have not.
I have, luckily for me.
Okay.
I started off this week. By this week, I mean like after the podcast. We got a pulled pork poutine from one of our favorite food trucks in town, and that was delicious per usual. And then it was we had a weird day on Saturday. We went to my niece's first birthday party and then immediately went to Ethan's grandfather's celebration of life after.
Oh my God.
You know what I love? Birthday food and funeral food. So at the birthday party, we had some really delicious chicken. I love like marinated chicken that is just like on the grill. And I told my brother that he did a great job. And then after that, I had pulled pork on a bun at the celebration of life. And that was also delicious. Actually, you know what? And then there was like a big vat of like Chex Mix, homemade Chex Mix. So I filled a couple to-go bags of that. And I've just been leaving it on my desk for midday snacks. What else? Had a steak salad this week because it's been nice barbecuing weather. So I've been trying to grill stuff. Last night I made a really delicious orzo dish with peas and feta and and yellow pepper. And then I made some garlic shrimp for on top, and that was really delicious. I love orzo.
It's a good pasta.
Because it's so much quicker to cook.
I was going to say, it doesn't take very long at all.
No, and you can make a nice like pasta salad with it or just eat it hot. That's really it. Nothing too crazy. Didn't do any baking this week. It was just busy and just don't feel like it, you know?
Yeah. See, now I feel better.
Yeah.
I feel better about the fact that I barely ate all week.
You go through ebbs and flows, right? You go through like I have weeks where I'm on it. I have lots of inspiration. I can make great dinners. I could bake cool stuff. And then there's some weeks where I'm like, great, let's have Chex Mix that's been on my desk for a week. That sounds delicious. And you know what it is? It's delicious.
Delicious, refreshing, as Trixie would say.
Yeah, so sometimes, you have weeks where you just are, it's nothing's doing it for you, and that's fine. We all have those weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, pop cultural things are doing it for me more than food recently.
Why? What are you looking at on the internet?
I've been watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race.
What season are you on now?
I'm on season 14.
I have to look that one up. RuPaul's Drag Race, just to see who's on it. Because I feel like I not stop watching. I always start watching and then I stop watching halfway through. Oh, okay. I do like this season.
It's the Maddie Morphosis season where we all learn that straight men can be drag queens.
Have you seen Maddie Morphosis stuff on TikTok too from Give It To Me Straight?
No.
Super funny.
Really?
Yes, very funny.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love Willow Pill.
She's great.
Carrie Colby.
Carrie Colby is so beautiful.
I like her. Yeah, that was a good season. I like that season, really. I should go back and watch it. I've been really hard watching Below Deck the last month. I've crushed a lot of Below Deck in the last few weeks.
That's exciting. I've never seen Below Deck.
It's good. You know what? I like the Bravo shows where people have had to have a job, I guess. I don't always love the housewives stuff because it's just, whatever. But I genuinely feel like if I would have watched Below Deck coming out of university, I would have tried to be a stew on a yacht. Definitely.
Really?
Seems fun. Well, it seems bad, but also seems like what you do in your 20s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does seem like something terrible you do in your 20s.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, sure, I'll go to Tahiti for 5 weeks and, make $1,200 a charter and be yelled at by rich people, whatever. Mm-hmm. At least you're getting yelled at in Tahiti.
That's true. And then those people have to go to bed eventually,
Yeah, and then you can go to bed too. A very tiny bed. And I'm small, so I would fit in the little crew cabins just fine.
Yeah, I am not. I am terrified about tiny beds or bunk beds or travel in a lot of Asia because I know that they have just tiny little places to stay.
Also tiny shoes. I went to a bowling alley in China.
Whoa.
Once, and then they said they didn't have my size of shoe. Because my feet were too big.
Your feet were too big?
Yeah.
See, the men's section would have your shoe size.
Yeah,
I know that because
they did give me men's shoes afterwards. They said, "Wow,
giant feet."
They said, "Wow, that's crazy." Actually, we'll give you the men's shoes. Anyway, LaTonya, where can people find you on the internet if you want to be found on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at LK Starks. Naomi and I just got done talking about The Sympathizer, which is definitely a TV show.
It has aired.
It aired on Max or HBO. It's having an identity crisis. And we watched it, so you don't have to. So tune in
because I'm not going to
our podcast. No, you would not make it through the first 10 minutes of that show. It's about the Vietnam War.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
They're just torturing people in the first 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm out. Thank you.
Yeah. Speaking of torture for Haley, we have some upcoming fun things that I'm going to be talking about in some capacity. One of them being House of the Dragon. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm thinking there's going to be some stuff done on Silent Podcast for House of the Dragon, and that I will be involved. So just stay tuned. And then there will be a podcast at some point about The Acolyte, because I am a Star Wars nerd and there's new Star Wars out.
I was going to ask, what is that? And you've answered my question.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars.
Amanda Stenberg's in it. Did you watch The Hunger Games?
I liked her. I liked them in The Hunger Games. Yeah. Okay, did you see there's a new Hunger Games coming out?
Yes. Haymitch's story. I thought of you when I saw that. But yeah, follow me on Twitter at LK Starks, and I will tell you where to go from there. What about you?
I actually had a busy podcast week.
Ooh.
What did I do? I did 2 on Monday. What were they? Oh, Grace and I talked about season 17 of Taskmaster. That is actually up on this YouTube channel and in this podcast feed if you want to go and listen and or watch, or both at the same time. Up to you, man. I'm not going to judge. And then I was on the Lonely Boys podcast talking about another episode of Gossip Girl. I love that podcast. By that, I mean I love talking to them about Gossip Girl, even though the only episodes of Gossip Girl I've ever seen are the ones I've watched for that podcast.
Really?
Yeah, I just go, I want to hang out. And they go, you got to watch Gossip Girl. I say, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
You seem like such a Gossip Girl type.
I do. You know what it was? I think it was on when I was in university and I didn't get that channel.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think what was on the CW, and like CW is hard to get in Canada. So I don't know what channel it was actually on here. Whatever it was, it's not in the basic cable package at the university, if you can believe it. Of course. Yeah. And then this one, obviously. And then tomorrow I am going to be on one of the season 50 preview for Survivor, like the what podcast you or what cast you want. I don't think it's going to air until like a couple weeks. So
yeah, but that's cool.
That'll be fun. And then Bridgerton's coming out next week, so I'm going to talk to Tori again about on Ready to Be Petty, Ready to Be Romanced, about that coming soon. So I'm excited about that. Also, did you notice my t-shirt? It's a Rob Has a Podcast Eras tour shirt, which is patron exclusive. So if you want to join the patron group, well, boy, join patron. Rob Has a podcast.com/patrons, I think. Lots of fun things. You can talk to us in the patron group. You get patron exclusive podcasts. You got opportunities to buy cool t-shirts with your boss's face on it.
The coolest t-shirt.
Great.
That you could possibly buy with money.
A great intersection of my interests, I do believe.
Exactly. That shirt is so you.
I saw it and I was like, I need it. It's mine. I need it. Oh. Anyway, and then you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @strong_. And if you want to check out everything I am reading over on my Bookstagram account, that is the Strong Library. I somehow, within the last week, passed my 50th book of the year.
Wow.
I don't know how I did it. I have.
How long are these books?
Some of them are long.
Huh.
I just read one that was 750 pages.
Wow. At reading, you're a Viking.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how I've done it.
That's a lot of pages.
It's so many pages. And honestly, like, I started like Thursday night and I finished it on Sunday. I don't know how I did it. I just kept going. And
yet she persisted.
And that was a Court of Silver Flames, I think, which is part of the ACOTAR series, which if it ever comes to a show or movie, I think you would like it. I wouldn't like watching it. I can read it, but I can't watch that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's too scary. I can just like skip by the scary bits or just like not imagine it, you know?
So what is your excuse for not reading any of the George R.R. Martin books?
They're too long, I think.
750 pages.
Okay. I know, but what are I guess
what are you saying about? You're
right.
Making arbitrary rules.
I am. I do that. I love an arbitrary rule.
Okay.
I was gonna say that these books probably have like slightly more boning, but I don't actually think that's true with the George R.R. Martin books. Oh yeah, this like ACOTAR series is just like we're fairies and also do it a lot.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I have to skip by those pages too because it's like too like I'm like that doesn't seem comfortable. I mean, read them and tell me if that sounds comfortable because I'm going to tell you it doesn't. And with that, you can pack your knives and go. Bye.